Hello there, my name's Card. I'm a long-time progressive community organiser and activist. On this YouTube page, I've quite frequently attempted before to get across the idea to a lot of my fellow progressives that they need to get better at recognising reactionary jokes and tropes and references when they see them, which I stand by. But on the flip side of that general idea, people are, all too often, far too apprehensive about some online communities, to the point where they'll become scared of a purely imaginary abstraction of the real thing. 4chan is the example of this. Realistically, everyone watching this will have heard of it, and they'll think they know what it is. In the popular imagination, 4chan is this malevolent online den of cybercriminals and hackers and various malcontents. But in reality, it's mainly just a bunch of harmless dorks. And I've known otherwise sensible, smart people who, if I happen to mention this to, they immediately sour on me and ask why I'm defending the notorious secret alt-right forum 4chan. Heaven forbid they ever see me actually browsing the thing myself. But what I have to tell these people is, it's great and all that your heart's in the right place, but you really need to have a proper critical reflection about your assumptions of the site. The fact of the matter is, you can't have a healthy, cautious eye out for real malicious online actors if you think that 4chan, of all things, is what you need to be the most worried about. There's unsavory people on there, of course, and with roughly 22 million unique monthly users, they're just not all going to be saints. But I promise, whatever hyperbolic assumptions anyone who has never used the site has been holding on to ever since they heard about it in passing in 2011 is way off the mark here. 4chan is actually only about as bad as any other website with a user base in the tens of millions. Maybe even a little better, since the segmented design of the site itself and the chronologically listed nature of the posts there mean that any objectionable content that does get posted where it shouldn't be will be very quickly noticed, removed, and its poster banned. In fact, on the whole, I'd bet Facebook has done more damage to the world, Twitter is run by worse people, Reddit hosts more appalling content, and the median Pinterest user is probably more reactionary. Maybe it's just because 4chan, broadly speaking, isn't laid out in the most intuitive way, and posts and comments there don't stay up for long, and that might dissuade a lot of people from learning how to browse it properly. But like I said, it's not wall-to-wall Nazis. It's mainly nerds and geeks who want to discuss their interests anonymously. Because 4chan is essentially just a few dozen early 2000s style hobby forums, all flying under one URL. Any overtly political stuff is on one singular self-contained segment of the site. And even then, my go-to line when explaining the infamous politically incorrect poll board to other lefties is, "It's more scared of you than you need be of it." Even so, if you don't want to see the political stuff, don't go to the political board. I agree completely that there's very little of value there, so I simply don't browse that page. Just like I don't browse a lot of the pages on the site, because they simply don't interest me. As it stands, I, for one, just occasionally browse the boards designed for discussing literature, history, films, and LGBT stuff. But there's others for video games, papercraft, math, sports, comics, music, cosplay. You get the idea. Like I said, it's mostly just nerd stuff. And for about 6 years now, mostly because of advertiser pressure, all of those subforums have been completely safe for work only as well. They're harmless. If you've been afraid of 4chan for years, you really shouldn't be. I'm not saying you need to start using it yourself, but it's not helpful to be scared of an exaggerated imaginary version of a pretty banal website, all things considered. Again, there's having a healthy awareness of where bad reactionary tropes and in-jokes come from online and how to spot them. But sometimes, you really needn't fear a website just because you're unfamiliar with it. Frankly, if you think 4chan is the worst thing online, that's adorably quaint of you. I say this not to chide, but because I think it would be very beneficial for many of my fellow progressives to get a bit more informed about the actual nature of things they've heard of that are ever so slightly outside of the mainstream. That's all I had to say today. Please just consider it. Once again, my name's Card. If you might want to hear more from me, feel free to subscribe to this YouTube page or take a look at my other videos. Either way, goodbye for now, and have a lovely day.